Welcome to Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. Hope you had a good rest of your week in trading. Last couple of days, uh, kind of yesterday was a bad day. Today we did make a little recovery. Did make some trades the last couple of days to try to adjust to the new world of the NASDAQ going down. So um, we sold some yesterday in a cash account, just in the cash account, for a small loss because our NVAX stock took such a dip yesterday. And so we wanted to make sure we were able to take advantage of that dip and jump on that NVAX while it was dipping. Did not have as much NVAX in the cash account as I did in my IRAs. So we did not do anything in the IRAs with the NVAX, but we did add to it in the cash account. And we'll talk about that as well as some other things we did, which ones we sold to make that move, and what we did today as well. So let's jump over to that portfolio and take a look and see what happened today. Okay, so here you see the portfolio. It was a green day in the market. You can see green all the way across the board. Dow up 453. NASDAQ actually ended up at 161, so it really came on towards the end, as you can see there. We had a real good run to the ends with the market, so hopefully that's an indication of what's going to happen next week, because we sure need it after this week. But we are in some good positions now as far as that goes, so not too concerned about it. But we did take a giant leap backwards this week as far as the portfolio goes. Now, we did pocket good money this week, though. So, you got two different things that you need to focus on. One's pocketing that money, and the other is your portfolio going up and down, which is a lot of times not much you can do with that when you're invested and the market goes up or down. So, we are pulling back in the portfolio, but we did do a good job on pocketing some money this week. So, all right, so let's take a look at our portfolio here. Micro Strategies is the very first one here. It did actually able to squeeze some green out today. You can see here on the charts, take a look at it. You can see it was green pretty good, but 2 times today, really good at these peaks here. And but it did pull back into the red, and then it did squeak some green out at the end of the day. But again, this one I buy is more or less a derivative of our Bitcoin. So instead of buying Bitcoin, because I can't really do that in my IRAs, I buy this stock here. Okay, this one in GBTC. Okay, but we are in this one got a pretty good stake in it, and so we want to see that change. We are down a little bit on it, but Bitcoin's been pulling back a little bit, but it had a pretty good day today. So I'm not too concerned about that, but let's just go ahead, and you can see the week was a rough week on this one. Here you can see it pulled all the way down to here, but hopefully it's come off its low. Maybe we'll see. This is really going to depend on what Bitcoin does, as well as the NASDAQ. It seems to follow both. As a matter of fact, right now, the NASDAQ, since Bitcoin's not doing anything spectacular, this one does not seem to be reacting as much to Bitcoin as it does just the market, which is the NASDAQ market. But that's the one we want. We're in that one. It's got a good chart on it the last few months. You can see the high this year was 113.15, so we'll never make it that high. We'll sell before then. Apple, we did add to that one today. Wanted to jump on that some. Got some at 119.27, building up my position in Apple. As you can see here, it was down at one point during the day, and then we did get in there while it was dipping here, and got in at 119.27. So we're adding to our position there. Let me go ahead and pull that chart up and let you see what it looked like for the day. Here's where we got in, right in here somewhere, 119.27. So yeah, right down in here, and then we had a real good close, so that made us look like a real good trader there. So, but it was a good little dip, so that's why I jumped in there and got some. So Apple is a good, That's a good solid bet. We're just, these things are pulling back. Some of these big high techs, and so I'm building me some positions in them as they pull back. And of course, if you don't get the bottom and they keep pulling back, your portfolio is going down. That's what's happening to our portfolio right now, and that's okay. We'll just wait that out. Square did not add to this one today, but it's had a good close too. You can see here. But for the week, you can see here it did pull down because it's also in the no, that's New York. No, it's Nasdaq. Okay, so yeah, it's following the Nasdaq. As the Nasdaq goes down, all these are pulling back too. Tesla's another one. Tesla we did add to today. We're building our position up in that one. Added to it twice today. Bought some at 615 and then bought some at 606. So we did get it down here at the lows. It's part of the lows anyway, somewhere around in here, and then up somewhere up in here, and then it closed up a little bit above where we bought today. But we're building up a nice little position in Tesla now. Tesla also has a tie-in with the Bitcoin because they do have a good bit of Bitcoin in their treasury, and they're also accepting Bitcoins when you buy cars. So that's a good one. But you can see here the trend on this. It's not our friend. Let's look at this 1 month. Okay, see here's your 1 month. You did get down to these lows here before it came back up. So it could get down to these again. Hopefully not, but it's very likely based on looking at the chart because it is still on a downward trend. All right. Hopefully Bitcoin starts doing good and it helps pull this one back up. But earnings is not too far off, so that might be when we see this and turn back around. U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel is one that we sold. Now, what I did yesterday in the cash account, I sold this U.S. Steel at an even mark, and a couple of others we'll talk about. But I sold this one at an even mark just to get the cash so I could go into NVAX. Okay, so, but we did sell the rest of it today in our portfolios, and we made 6% in each portfolio. We've had it 2 or 3 days, so not bad for the portfolios. And that was the good pocketing of money that I was talking about for the week. So I feel really good about the week and the pocketing of money this week. But I don't, you can see I sold. Oh, I don't have the price, but I sold at 6%. I think it went up another 6% from there almost. Yeah, as you can see here. So, yeah, I could have got another 6% out of it, but I sold when I reached 6% of my money, and it did have a strong close. I was pretty close to top right in here, and then it did have a strong close. So, but when I sold, I had a good feeling this thing could still go up to about 24. That's what it's been doing. We've talked about this one. It goes up to about 23, 24. Then it may pull back, and you can get it at 20, anywhere between 20 and $17. Those have been good spots for me. This is about my second best stock this year that we've been trading. So really nice stock for me to trade in between 17, 20. I think I bought it at 20 this time around and made 6% on that. So not a bad stock. I like this one. And all the infrastructure talk that you hear from the politician, that always seems to affect that. Of course, this is also the Dow has been driving this one. I believe it's in the Dow. Let me check this here. No, it's actually in the NASDAQ, which surprises me. But it's about the only one that hasn't been pulling back. Of course, it's not a high tech. It's not a high tech, but it's been doing good. PayPal had a pretty good day here. Have not added to that one. Let's take a look at the week. It did have a good little jump up to the end of the day, but the week's just like everything else that we've seen in the NASDAQ, just about where it's been a downward trend. But this one looks like it's up. I'm trying to get an upward trend going. So hopefully the worst is over for that one. Don't have a tremendous stake in that one, I don't believe, but we got a little bit of it. This one here, Hut 8 Mining Company, is a Bitcoin miner. Bitcoin did pretty good today, so this one it was a little in the green. For the week, it was a downward trend on this one as well. Bitcoin was pretty up and down all week, so not a lot happening with that one. But watch it because it can jump if Bitcoin jumps. Novavax. This has been the exciting one, as usual this week. Yesterday was extremely exciting. There was some news that came out, so there was some shortage of some of the things needed for the vaccine, and the EU vaccine supply deal amid production problems. The way I read this on the Novavax, when I went and studied up on it a little bit, it almost sounded like to me that it was kind of like Novavax did not really want to sign a contract that tied them into being responsible for, that supply chain, okay? Because they don't want to be penalized if there's something in the supply chain that does not allow them to make a certain amount of doses. And that's the way I read that. They've got all kinds of contracts already signed to make doses that don't have these types of catches, and they didn't want to get tied in on that contract with Europe, I believe it is. So who knows? That's just what I heard. But yesterday was a frightening day. If you were watching it yesterday, you were up here, the 196 level. It was falling down all day, and then all of a sudden it just took a dump. It actually got down to 159 something, I think. But so when I saw that happening yesterday, what I did is I sold some stuff in my cash account since I didn't have as much Novavax in my cash account as I did in my others, and sold those for a little bit of a loss. I sold X for it even. Sold a couple others for a loss. I think it was AKAM for about a 4% loss, and that short that I had on the S&P for a 3% loss. And then I turned around and put all that money back into Novavax, so I could get the same amount of shares that I have in my portfolio with in my cash account. So real happy with that. In my strategy videos, sometimes I talk about being flexible, and so that's being flexible. I took some that didn't cost me that much as far as the dollar amount in the losses, and so we went ahead and cashed them in and used that cash. As you can see here, we went from let me tell you what I bought it at. I bought it at 176, 170, and 173 yesterday. So uh, different levels yesterday. 170 being the cheapest, and actually bought a little bit more today at 185, and so we ended up buying at 170, 173, and 176, and 185 today. So you can see what it did this morning. It took off. It looked like it was going to go crazy when it. So I bought some at 185, thinking it was going to go crazy, and it did for a little while. It went from that 185 all the way up here to the high of 197.25, and then it pulled back. So, and it did not have the real strong finish like what we saw with some of these others, but it did have a pretty good little finish because it was in the red there. So, but this is just news. We're waiting on the news of approvals here. Once we get some approval news, I think you're going to see this one take off. I'm hoping so. I've got some money in it. I'm hoping that it gets back to the 240 that it was at not too long ago. Let's see, yeah, right up in here somewhere. I think in the after hours that day it was at 240. So uh, I would not be surprised it couldn't get right back up to that level there. And then you can go back 6 months and see what other levels you might get to here. 319 or what is it? 331 is actually the high. I'll take the 240 in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'll take that 240 in a heartbeat. That'd be a good little gain. I probably will never make it up here to 300 and something because of my discipline. I like to cash in like that X today. I cashed in at 6%. That's what we do. We take that money. There's more money to be made a lot of times, but you got to have that strategy and try to stick to your discipline. It all depends on what's going on in my portfolio. If I'm still trying to claw back from this week, then we might just, take stuff like that. But this week has been a tough week. I do not kid you. But that happens on the portfolio going up and down. It's just because these stocks that I'm pouring money into are pulling back still. Okay. Akamai, we actually sold out of it today and yesterday. We took a little loss yesterday, but today we sold even. Again, I was trying to put cash on the sideline, and because I wanted to put it in some of these other stocks as they kept drawing back, like Tesla, and that's what I did today with this one. I sold Akamai, sold Coca-Cola, um, and then we bought Tesla today with that. We already talked about Tesla, I believe. So out of Akamai, SPCE didn't do anything with it. It didn't do much today. We won't even bother you with that. UVXY, I would sell that one, but I'm too far down on it. So I'm not going to sell it because it'd be too big of a loss. It's just absolutely, the VIX has not, you think, it sure has dropped a lot since I bought it. So I'm not going to sell that one. It's going to be one I hold on to for a while. And the market, when I do sell it, it's going to be a bad situation because that means the market's done gone nuts. So but we'll just stick it in the hole and not worry about it. SH, we did sell that one, sold out of that one. That's the S&P short that we had. We were even on what we sold today, and yesterday we took a little bit of a loss on what we had yesterday. But what we sold today, we did sell out at even. Coca-Cola, we sold out at even today. And now we might have held that for one dividend payment too, so we actually made a little bit of money on it. Tilray looks like it was down for the day. Okay, and Nikola ended up down for the day. It was up for a little while in the morning. This one's been a pretty big disappointment. It's a electric vehicle company, and it's just been beat up. So we'll just have to hope it gets better. Okay, so there you have it. That's the portfolio for the week. It was a rough week in the portfolio as far as what our levels were, but you got to separate those two things, that portfolio level and what kind of money you're making on trades. When you buy stocks, it's very seldom they go up from the point you bought them. Okay, so don't get caught up with, if it dips, a few percent or something like that. I can't tell you how many times I've had stocks that were down 20, 30% that ended up making money. One way to help with that, of course, is cost average those things as they drop. And that's kind of what we've been doing too with Tesla. As it keeps pulling back, we're adding to that. We're adding to Apple, and we'll continue to add to some of those other ones as well as they pull back and we have the cash. We got pretty low on our cash. Still, let's see here. I think I was at about 20%. I didn't write it down, but I think I'm at about 20% level of cash right now. So that's just something I've been at 50%, 40% all year. Like that level better, but that's why you have that cash on the side. When you see this pullback in these markets, you put it to work. You can sit there and wait, and you can sit there and wait, and a lot of times you'll miss it. So best to go ahead and start putting it to work as soon as you see a 2 or 3% pullback, or especially on a stock. You see a 4 or 5% pullback in a day on a good stock. Then that's when you go ahead and start adding to that stock, because you get a couple of days like that and you're down 10%. You want to add it again. Just keep cost averaging it as it dips on a good stock that you have confidence going to be back one day. You don't want to chase a falling knife necessarily, but something like Tesla, something like Apple, PayPal, Square, those that I've been building positions in. MicroStrategy is a little bit riskier, just based off of the price it's at right now, but that's all based off of Bitcoin. So Anyway, it's two separate things you focus on. Sometimes you have good weeks in both, sometimes you don't. And so this was a bad week for the portfolio, but a very good week for the cashing in on some stocks. And that's all you can hope for. As long as you keep cashing in and you're consistent in that every week, the year is usually going to end up pretty good. Okay. So I hope you had a good day today and yesterday. We'll jump back in here next week, maybe Monday afternoon, sometime after market closes, and we'll talk back to you then. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate the new subscriptions. I want to give a shout out to my niece, uh, and I wanted to say hello to her. She just subscribed, and that's Lindsay. So thank you, Lindsay. And there's your shout out. All right, have a great day. Bye bye. Don't forget to click this button right here. Thanks.